Big town, siéntete que por eso not be lonely. Look us having a breakdown. Ooh, what a letdown, a shame I think you might die. She's dancing and throwing, guess I gotta wait my turn. I said don't fall in love with the moment. She said I got a lot to learn. No, I'm in love with the city. The green is turning brown. I just look pathetic now. If she likes it cause we just don't eat, and we're so intelligent. She's American. Yeah, she says I gotta fix my teeth, and she's so American. She's American. If she likes it cause we just don't eat, and we're socially relevant. She's American. If she says I gotta fix my teeth, then she's so American. She's American. She's inducing sleep to avoid pain. I think she's got a gun, divinely decreed and custom made. She calls on the phone like the old days, expecting the world known. Said don't fall in love with the moment. I think you're in love with the girl. There's too much water in the city, be careful or you drown. I think you've got it figured out. If she likes it cause you just don't eat, and you're so intelligent. She's American. If she says I gotta fix my teeth, then she's so American. She's American. If she likes it cause you just don't eat, and we're socially relevant. She's American. If she says I gotta fix my teeth, then she's so American. She's American.
All right, welcome back. I want to thank all of you that joined me yesterday for the Iran special stream. Iran so far away, and I hope we're running away from war. If you'll let me do a stupid pun to open this broadcast. So, we're not going to talk about Iran today. Unfortunately, it's not really convenient right now for me to opine on it. What's going on? So anyway, let me just share this with someone else so that they can watch me being a jackass. Well, you watch me being a jackass. Let me do a stupid pun. Hold on, I just heard myself. So, 1 second. So, anyway, we're going to talk a lot about Oberlin College today. Now, let me be clear. For some of you around the country, Oberlin College might not mean that much because it's not exactly an Ivy League school. It's a little bit below the Ivy League. But it's a pretty big deal, I guess, in the world of academia because it's one of the oldest colleges in the Midwest. It was a big abolitionist college before the Civil War. And they have a long and burnished legacy of producing a lot of very, I guess, high-grade intellectuals, but no more, because they have completely cucked to the SJWs. And once you cuck to the SJWs, you should be aware that they will take you all the way to the poorhouse because they have no regard for what actual rules and laws of society are. And that's why today a jury has awarded Gibson's Bakery $44 million in damages stemming from its lawsuit against Oberlin College and VP and Dean of Students Meredith Raimondo. So I have that article open, but you can see in these comments, people are saying what a national embarrassment. People are mocking her, Raimondo, and people are just besides themselves in glee at the fact that this has become, this school has become the laughingstock of America. Now, granted, there's not much to see here because, unfortunately, there is, I guess even their own student newspaper has very low Twitter traffic. There's no comments on the actual. So this is a Legal Insurrection article. Legal Insurrection has amazing coverage of this, amazing, and you would probably expect that because a lot of the people who write for Legal Insurrection are attorneys, as the name would suggest. So they are able to provide better coverage. So let me explain what had happened. A couple years ago, I think it was in 2017, these students went to the bakery, Gibson's Bakery, and shoplifted, and the bakery reported them to the police, and they were caught. I believe one of them even assaulted one of the store clerks, and they were convicted, and a narrative was developed among the student body that it was a racism-motivated prosecution against these people and that they were innocent, when in fact, apparently these suspects, who were later convicted of the shoplifting, admitted to the police and in the court that there was no racist motive behind their arrest. They had actually shoplifted the product. So this simple shoplifting led to a campaign, an activist campaign to boycott the bakery. The college actually gave in to the mob and encouraged the boycott and canceled a contract between the bakery and the cafeteria there. So all of these people, these left-wing freaks who always want to do things that are locally sourced and support small businesses against corporations, they slandered and libeled a bakery that it's over 150 years old. It says here, so this is from the Oberlin Review, which is the student newspaper there. The Lorain County jury overseeing the trial between Gibson's Bakery and Oberlin College and Vice President and Dean of Students Meredith Raimondo has ruled in the bakery's favor, announcing $11 million in compensatory damages last Friday and an additional $33.2 million in punitive damages yesterday. Of the total $44.2 million, it is possible that the assigned punitive damages will be reduced to $22 million because of an Ohio state law that caps punitive damages at twice the amount of compensatory damages. Compensatory damages are meant to compensate a plaintiff for any losses they have endured, while punitive damages are meant to punish the defendant and are awarded when juries agree that compensatory damages are not enough to account for the plaintiff's suffering. So that this is a legal idea, okay? If you're only awarded compensatory damages, it's as if, look, there was no harm, there was no malice of intent, but we will basically make things whole, and you have to pay them back the damage. Punitive damages means that the jury concluded that there was malice of aforethought in the college's actions. So it could be that Oberlin College had a bad enough attorney and counsel, which there is plenty of evidence of if you read through all of the Legal Insurrection articles about it, that they somehow failed to convince the jury that they didn't really mean to screw with the bakery. The jury found the college and Raimondo guilty of libel, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and improper interference in the business relationship between Gibson's and Bon Appetit, Oberlin's food management company. The lawsuit was filed by Gibson's in November 2017 and went to court May 9th of this year. The tension between the college and Gibson's initially arose in November 9, 2016 when a black student was accused of shoplifting in the bakery. The student was followed outside the store by Alan Gibson, the son of the bakery's owners, David Gibson, who are both white. A physical altercation ensued between the two. Two of the student's friends, who are also black students, allegedly started hitting and pulling Alan off the student, later saying they were attempting to break up the altercation. Alan alleged the three students attacked him, while other eyewitnesses reported that Alan was the aggressor. An eyewitness contacted the Oberlin Police Department out of concern for the student's safety. Upon arriving, officers arrested the three students and took statements from Alan and David Gibson, as well as a Gibson's employee. Officers did not take statements from the three students who were arrested, nor other eyewitnesses. So they're framing this case essentially from the perspective that that this was an improper arrest and that this was a racial thing, because they're talking about how the Gibsons are white, and the suspects, the perpetrators, were of course not. Let's see here. Cost 12 employees their jobs. Oh, hey, Mad Dodge, what's going on? How's it going up in the ORG? Anyway, it says here, many objected to what they consider. So the day after these arrests, students initiated a 12-hour protest outside of Gibson's bakery and launched a widespread boycott of the business. Many objected to what they considered racial profiling on the part of both the Gibson family and the Oberlin Police Department, as well as an alleged history of racial profiling connected to the store. Some students passed out flyers that read, "This is a racist establishment with a long account of racial profiling and discrimination. Today we urge you to shop elsewhere." Following the protests, the college temporarily paused its standing catering order with Gibson's, but resumed its regular business relationship in January 2017. Gibson's claimed that this decision was part of the college's attempt to inflict financial damage to the bakery. In court, one of the college's attorneys, Rochelle Zidar, argued that the college and Raimondo did not seek to injure the business, but rather the pause was meant to diffuse tensions that had built within the student body. Following the announcement of the lawsuit in November 2017, the college permanently ended the business relationship. The three students involved in the initial altercation took a plea deal in August 2017. And so there you go. If you take a plea deal and you plead guilty, then don't complain. Don't complain. In exchange for amended misdemeanor charges, they were compelled to plead guilty to shoplifting and read statements recanting allegations of racism against Alan Gibson and the bakery. The Gibsons and their lawyers claimed that Oberlin administrators encouraged students to protest against the bakery, including allegations that Raimondo orchestrated some of the protests. However, the college and Raimondo maintained that they never made statements against the bakery and cannot be held accountable for students' actions or statements. Vice President, General Counsel, and Secretary Donika Thomas Varner emailed the Oberlin community last Friday following the announcement of compensatory damages. So she said, neither Oberlin College nor Dean Meredith Raimondo defamed a local business or its owners, and they never endorsed statements made by others, Varner wrote. Rather, the college and Dr. Raimondo worked to ensure that students' freedom of speech was protected and that the student demonstrations were safe and lawful, and they attempted to help the plaintiffs repair any harm caused by the student protests. Varner wrote that the college was disappointed by the jury decision. Blah, blah, blah. Colleges cannot be held liable for the independent actions of their students, Varner continued. So that's interesting. I hope that they realize that, given the fact that the Covington kids were, their school they received tons of death threats and harassment after that happened. Institutions of higher education are obligated to protect freedom of speech on their campuses and respect their students' decision to peacefully exercise their First Amendment rights. Oberlin College acted in accordance with these obligations. During the punitive damages phase, the college's financial status was examined. Lead attorneys for the Gibsons, Lee Placas, called Oberlin a billion-dollar institution that can afford, in this case, 11 attorneys during the trial. However, the college's attorneys brought up Oberlin's worsening financial situation, which has caused significant institutional change recently. Attorney Matthew Nacon explained that the college has functioned on an unsustainable deficit for several years. Yesterday, before punitive damages were decided, Zidar explained to the jury that damages would, quote, impact people who have nothing to do with Gibson's trial, including future students in need of scholarships and aid. The trial's outcome has received national attention and has been covered in news articles and opinion pieces published in the New York Times, Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, and other major publications. Many have argued that the decision will impact how institutions of higher education across the country will deal with issues of free speech with regards to their students. The claims in this case conflict with obligations of higher education to protect freedom of speech on college campuses. Director of Media Relations Scott Wargo recently said in an interview with The Review, the college respects the rights of all individuals to express their personal opinions and to peacefully exercise their First Amendment rights. After compensatory damages were announced, Oberlin's attorneys requested a mistrial. This request was denied by Judge John Moraldi on Tuesday. The college must decide whether or not to appeal the verdict. In an email sent to Oberlin students this morning, President Carmen Twillie Amber assured students that the decision does not mark a permanent crisis for Oberlin's future. This is not the final outcome, President Ambar wrote. This is, in fact, just one step along the way of what may turn out to be a lengthy and complex legal process. I want to assure you that none of this will sway us from our core values. It will not distract, deter, or materially harm our educational mission for today's students or for generations to come. This story will continue to develop in the coming weeks. So, important things to talk about. This was an article that was biased towards the college because it is the student newspaper, and Oberlin is a far, far left college here in Ohio. It's basically the Berkeley of the Midwest. And I guess Michigan would also be pretty far left. If you guys are in the chat, I know Mad Dodge is from Oregon, so he could probably cite several examples. But you can put, what's the craziest far left college in your state, and we'll see which one is, there's some real gems out there. And I mean that sarcastically. But the fact is that Oberlin, they decided that their need to assuage the angst of their students was more important than actually not getting sued for libel by a business that they had a partnership with. And that's just not good business practice. I understand that you have this pressure from within your student body, given the fact that you employ people as your faculty that are, degenerate pieces of crap. But you have to live with that. It doesn't mean you get special privileges because you're an institution of higher learning, or so you claim. So she posted a letter, the president of the college. She said, by now many of you will have heard about the latest development in the Gibson's Bakery lawsuit, a jury's declaration of punitive damages against Oberlin. Let me be absolutely clear, this is not the final outcome. So we already read that part. We will take the time we need to thoughtfully consider the course that is in Oberlin's best interests. I will update the community as we make these decisions. I am confident that when we resolve this matter, it will look substantially different than it looks today. So I want to say hi to Mr. Wezzo. Happy Friday indeed. Not if you're the president of Oberlin College, though. We are disappointed in the jury's decisions and the fragmentary and sometimes distorted public discussion of this case. But we respect the integrity of the jury. So what they're doing now is they're apologizing after, at the time, disputing the jury's integrity last week. But they've done it too late, because they said that the jury hadn't really examined the evidence last week. But now they have to, let me see here. I think I'm freezing up. Fine on the OBS. Okay, I'm still good. So things are not all that good for the people of Oberlin College because they're basically screwed now. They have, these people, they ruined the jury's verdict because between one verdict, the verdict on the punitive damages, which was last week, and the compensatory damages, which was this week, they impugned, the college actually impugned the character of the jury, and therefore this is admissible in court. And the jury can basically say, yeah, go fuck yourself. We'll give them even a little more money, right? So yeah, this is a huge loss. This is a huge L for the communists in the money department. In a move that so this stands in contrast to the conciliatory tone taken by Oberlin College in arguing no punitive damages were needed. It says, "You have spoken," said Oberlin College attorney Rachel Kuznicki Zadar to the jury. "You have sent a profound message. We have heard you, and believe me, colleges across the country have heard you." She also looked at the Gibson family and said, "The college doesn't hate you." In a move I've never seen by a college or university, Oberlin College has moved its Twitter account to protected. So the colleges, they need their own safe space on Twitter. I mean, this is certainly a 2017 story. So that type of thing was really, remember 2 years ago that was in the news literally all the time. Now it's just been accepted. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but people are, the fact is that academia has just continued to get worse and worse. So yeah, I think they might appeal, and that will be pretty interesting what happens. Andy Ngo has been blocked by Twitter. Oh, this is priceless. So Andy Ngo is he's a Oregonian he's an Oregonian journalist. He's known for filming a lot of stuff around Portland College. I'm sure that Mad Dodge has come across him at least once in terms of his material, if not maybe not in person, but yeah, these people are retarded. The Oberlin College people. Nicholas Christakis, you might remember that in 2017 at Yale. I think it was it was either 2017 or maybe it was much earlier, but he was confronted due to his wife writing an email to other faculty. I think it was to other faculty. It might have just been a public post, but she said, this whole thing about cultural appropriations and Halloween costumes, it detracts from the fun and freedom of Halloween. So he was confronted on the lawn of the quad over there, I think, and basically shit talked for about an hour. And then it made national news. I don't remember if you guys saw this. Let me see. So you'll probably remember this. So he's reacting to it. Let me see if I can get it over here. So do you guys remember this video? It was pretty big.
You're not listening. It is no longer a safe space for me. And I find that incredibly depressing because I feel that in your role as master and associate master, after sending that email and after not having an appropriate response, that our opinion has been dismissed. That you guys have not said,
So it's a bit unfortunate that his title is master.
I hear that you are hurting, and I am sorry that I have caused you to feel pain. I have not heard that from you, and I have not heard that from your wife. And that is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear any more defensive terms because it's not fair to us.
The moral of Michaela's comment just now, the moral of the story is that she wants an apology, yet you respond not with an apology. I still think that the phrase hurt feelings
Okay, tell me the phrase you want me to use, so I'll use it.
I don't know, was an expression of racism.
I wanted to agree the statement was racist. I wanted to agree the statement was racist. I wanted to agree the statement was racist. I want to agree the statement was racist.
So then apologize!
I want to make sure.
I understand, what is the issue?
Can I say?
Yeah, these people are they need insane asylums. They don't need higher learning. They need to fix what they broke way before college, or maybe they get broken into college. I don't know what to say. But in any case, he says false accusations of racism that are defamatory and injurious have consequences. Oberlin fined $11 million in bakery just racial profiling case. How many followers does Christakis have? Well, not bad. So yeah, this is a big deal. It is a big friggin' deal, and you can see Oberlin's tweets. They're protected. You can go here and tweet unavailable. Twitter just buries these. Says, hey, Oberlin College, you also offer honorary degrees of Doctor of Libel. Oberlin promotes hate. Better start selling participation degrees to pay for people you lied about in the name of social justice. These are actually good. I like this. The last grad class. Oberlin's reputation, it's in the deepest of the swamp. So this might be actually a left-wing person. United Venezuela. It's either a left-wing person or a parody account. A lot of good their education at Oberlin will do that for them, especially after Oberlin just got hit with a $33 million judgment, which includes punitive damages. Hope these students can find work. Nice to see the next generation of baristas and Uber drivers. Pro tip, do not put Oberlin on your resume. This is pretty funny. And it's totally fine. They deserved it. Oberlin College deserved it. And I know people who they have been following this in the area. It is a big deal for Ohio. The people of Oberlin College basically feels like it's its own nation within Lorain County. I don't live in Lorain County. I live in Cuyahoga, which is, of course, where Cleveland is. But Lorain is immediately to the west of us. And when you go there, I remember visiting there with my boss. And we were going to put a solar array on a roof. We were putting in a proposal. And the kids who were fielding the proposals, because this was a student initiative, they didn't really care, and they were really lackadaisical, and we showed up, and essentially we we presented it, and it was like they weren't even paying attention. Like, they weren't really serious. So they wasted our time. We'd driven it's not 3 hours, but it's a drive out there. It's definitely not 3 hours. I'm exaggerating a lot. But we'd driven all the way there. The place is a nice area, and we went to a cafe there. I don't think it was Gibson's. We had like coffee over there, and then we went home. So the problem with Oberlin College is that you have too many people there that are there to escape from reality, and the courts just brought them back to reality. And thank you very much. But I think that this is great. I'm not going to pretend not to be biased about it. Alan Dershowitz can get fucked. And I am never going to let this go. When Mr. Joe, Sleepy Creepy Joe, he goes down in flames in the primary because he's Mr. I think they should call him Slow Biden now, because he just doesn't have the spring in him from back in the days when he used to rip off other people's speeches. It says here that Dershowitz declares he would support Biden over Trump in 2020. So this is something I tell people. Progressives and liberals will never be in favor of real change, of change, change for the better. They end up, okay, now some of them, of course, the wackos, they will tell you, we're going to create a revolution or whatever. What they really mean is that they are creating an organization that they will use in order to seize more power, and then they will be in charge, and you will be worth little to nothing. You'll be dirt. And Dershowitz is by no means the worst of them, but he's still one of them. And we can't just forget it, because yes, on TV and in various publications, he says that Trump is not guilty, and he's defended Donald Trump from these illegal investigations and stuff like that, and the Mueller team, all of that, very well, all well and good. Even if you're not, look, I tell people, keep an open mind. There's various things that you should worry about the Trump administration regarding the bump stock ban and the suppressor ban, which is forthcoming, I believe. But you should keep an open mind. Potentially, you might have to really hold him to the fire and say, look, we could vote for other people if you don't support our interests. But at the moment, remember, if the Democrats take back the White House, they can reimpose this regime of intelligence tyranny that they had under Barack Obama. So for Alan Dershowitz to go and say, oh, I would, well, let's hear what he said. They included an audio clip here.
Look, I'm going to judge him when I vote on the totality of his conduct, the totality of his accomplishments, and I'm going to make a judgment based on that. But I think to conflate
right. I'm not
what some
conflating
people think
them, though.
is wrong with what's illegal or impeachable raises serious questions.
I completely agree with you. But you're not going to vote for Donald Trump, are you?
It depends who runs against him. If Bernie Sanders is nominated, that would present a real dilemma for me. I don't think under any circumstances I could vote for a man who went to England and campaigned for a bigot and anti-Semite like Jeremy Corbyn. I don't think I can do it. I couldn't pull that lever.
And if the candidate is Joe Biden?
I'm a strong supporter of Joe Biden. I like Joe Biden. I've liked him for a long time, and I could enthusiastically support Joe Biden.
Over Donald Trump?
Over Donald Trump, yeah.
Okay.
This is the bitch who moaned and whined for the entirety of Obama's term about how he's not supporting Israel enough and whatever. And now that Trump has gone above and beyond whatever the hell him, Dershowitz and the AIPAC people, they always want more foreign aid and more whatever and blah, blah, blah. And that's what they consider support for Israel. Whereas Donald Trump is saying, look, we're going to, we'll hold the Palestinians accountable. We'll also, he does give foreign aid to the Israelis. And I'm a person, I don't even believe in foreign aid. I don't think any of these countries should get foreign aid. None of them. Not Pakistan, not the Philippines, not Israel, not South Korea. No foreign aid. It's all trade, baby. Replace it with trade. But Alan Dershowitz thinks that the most important thing is this two-state solution. And by the way, on all of the social issues, he's pro-choice. He's pro gun control and all of that. He's not really a civil libertarian the way that we are. We have completely different perspectives on what civil liberties are. I think fetuses have the right to live. By the way, yesterday I watched this video of this woman whose raccoon had died. She had, triplets, 3 raccoons that survived, I guess, an accident with their mother. And she'd rescued them, and one of them died. Or rather, she had to have the raccoon put down because it had been paralyzed and was not going to live. And this woman was beside herself in horror, having to put her raccoon to death. Put down the raccoon, which is euthanasia. That's the way we relate to animals. But we don't celebrate the death of our animals, our friends in the animal kingdom, when we put them down. We also don't celebrate when some people, I find it very, grotesque when people hunt and they show off their animal trophies. That's just me. Okay. I don't think I could do that, but it's obvious that if people can mourn the death of an animal, the death of this thing that can't talk to you, it can't really necessarily communicate with you the same way that the rest of humanity can, but you can have a bond with this creature, sometimes a stronger bond with a creature than you can with another human being. And in this woman's case, she was like really, really depressed over it. Yes, I don't think that we should. I think fetuses deserve more than that degree of respect, and we should end this institution of state-sponsored abortion and elective abortion and this cult of worship for the quote-unquote reproductive rights. I put down 4 recently, but trying to kill chickens. Right, but so yeah, I mean, I'm not disputing. So some people, you have livestock, you're not going to let raccoons hang around them, or foxes or whatever. I'm just using this as an example that we value the lives of animals. You didn't just kill them because you hate raccoons, right? You didn't kill them because you were saying, it's a life choice. You were killing them because you had chickens, another resource that you needed to keep. So, yeah, that's kind of disturbing, man. I don't think I could kill a raccoon. I love those sneaky bastards. So, anyway, Alan Dershowitz, does he know the law? He knows the law. Does he know wisdom of politics? No. The man is completely connected at the hilt to the Democratic corporate empire, and I have never trusted him, and I'm still not going to trust him because he is a fraud. So another person also decided to opine on what's going on with Joe Biden. Let me see. I think I might have to unmute this, so bear with me.
Even a little bit further, I think there's a good chance Biden ends up being the nominee. Democrats have a very poor track record in terms of the nominees that they pick. And I think there is a chance that he then goes on to beat Trump, although I agree with you. I don't think he's the strongest choice if you're just looking at electability. But let's say that he wins the White House. What do you think that administration looks like, and what do you think the consequences are?
I think the consequences, honestly, are terrible. Don't get me wrong. If it's Biden versus Trump in the general election, that's the biggest no-brainer of my life. I will definitely vote for Biden. And anyone who doesn't, I think, is mental. Not because Biden's great, as I'm about to explain, but because Trump is an absolute disaster. He doesn't believe in our form of government. If you give him 4 more years, this democracy might not even survive. And I don't think that's hyperbole. I think he's going to start locking up his political opponents. He said that over and over again. And when he says things like that, he usually, unfortunately, delivers on his promises of being a tyrant and a demagogue. So now, in terms of if Biden wins, though, I know exactly where he's going. Nothing. He's not going to propose anything bold. He says it. I mean, it's not me saying it. It's him saying it. He's not going to go for Medicare for all. He's not going to go for Green New Deal. He's not going to get money out of politics. He might nominally be for $15 minimum wage. I mean, by God, that is the bare minimum. And that's what corporate Democrats do. They do.
I'm a progressive. Fucking idiot. So you can see that there's even someone with lower standards than Alan Dershowitz, because Alan Dershowitz said, and it is at least a standard, even if it's a dumb standard, that he would not vote for Bernie Sanders because of Jeremy Corbyn or whatever. All well and good. So if I guess Bernie Sanders was to run against Donald Trump, I'm assuming Alan Dershowitz would stay home and play with his wee-wee or something. But Cenk Uygur is perfectly willing to vote for Joe Biden. That's how low of a standard he has, that he would vote for this retard who said, actually, no, it's this clip over here. He said in Iowa, a lot of you don't know, probably a lot of you don't know where Delaware is. Let's see if we can even get this to work.
And by the way, Delaware has a lot of small towns like y'all do. I know you all think of Delaware as being this east. First of all, probably a lot of you don't know where Delaware is. But anyway, I know Delaware, Rhode Island. I've been there, but it's like people say, we're riding now. One of my guys, who's one of the brightest guys I have working with me, is from Idaho. And they say, you're from Iowa. And I said, no, Idaho. It's about 1,900 miles away. You know what I mean? But anyway, but all kidding aside, it's one of these things where what these fellows are doing on Medicare and what they're doing on healthcare across the board, hang on to your county hospitals, man.
Yeah, he looks like he's 1 foot in the grave, and he's making slips like that. It's pretty dumb. This guy is a joke, and I have no clue why he is ahead in the polls. There's actually evidence right now that he slipped in the polls, but Bernie is also slipping in the polls, and Elizabeth Warren might have passed him in some of them. I think the one in California specifically.
The Hill's opinion contributor John Solomon says, quote, "If you read the newspapers..."
So John Solomon is claiming that, that there was, of course, I'm not going to really belabor the point on this, but there was this whole to-do about the George Stephanopoulos interview. But the fact is that George Stephanopoulos, I have no clue why Trump needs to waste time even talking to that retard. But essentially the whole to-do was, he said that he might accept help or accept information from a foreign power. And the whole issue is that the Obama administration, it says, accepted unsolicited information from Alexander Downer, an Australian diplomat who just happened to have helped arrange a $25 million government donation to the Clinton Foundation years before. And by the way, so they paid for, this is something that's been reiterated today over and over again on the radio. So when I'm in the car, I listen to this radio station, a talk radio station in the Salem network. So they're pretty solidly right wing, I'd say. So they were saying, look, you can't complain that people would accept help, in the form of information when the Democrats were paying for information from a foreign government through Christopher Steele, a retired MI6 agent. So that's already a foreign government because MI6 is, they're an intelligence agency of the British government. So people would say, they'd protest, hey, but that's the British. They're our allies. Well, where do you think Steele got his information from? He got it from actual Russian government sources within their counterintelligence department who were feeding him disinformation. They were feeding him disinformation. They were feeding him deliberately false crap in order to deceive him. And he used it to get this whole nonsense going. The Russians weren't envisioning that this would go far. This whole Steele dossier thing and the Trump-Russia investigation is it went so far beyond what the thanks a lot, Mr. Wazzo. I also see your question. I'll answer it in a second. But the thing is, the Russians could have never envisioned that this disinformation would succeed so well because it's the media, it's the Democrats, it's the intelligence community itself. They have helped the Russians more than the Russians wanted to help themselves. They thought, we'll just screw this with this idiot and we'll make a few bucks on the way. My, how things have transpired since then. So, yeah, that's from John Solomon. He's pretty good. He's from The Hill. We already went through this. We'll talk about the debate stage.
Former Vice President Joe Biden will face off against Senator Bernie Sanders and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Senator Kamala Harris said in a new interview that if she was elected president, her administration's...
So apparently Kamala Harris has said that she would prosecute Trump if she went to the White House. That's effectively so here's another deal here. So the whole lock her up thing during the 2016 campaign, could the Democrats legitimately gripe that the Republicans were doing the same thing? They were threatening to put their political opponents in jail. Yes, they could complain about that, but the substance of the accusation is true. Hillary Clinton did obstruct justice. She did destroy government records. She hid those 33,000 emails, and she stored classified documents on an unsecured server. She's also, there's ample evidence that she's lied under oath several times. Perjury is a crime. They can't nail an actual crime to Donald Trump. All of the crimes that they're attributing to him are what are called character crimes. In my opinion, I call them character crimes. Other people, the Hard Bastard channel, I've appeared with them a couple times. They would call them media crimes because the media thinks they're important, but they're not actual crimes. You can't serve jail time for them or anything. I can see that. Jim So put up a new video, so I guess I'm going to check that out tomorrow when I have time, maybe. So, yeah, these people are out of their minds. Now, before I forget, Mr. Wazeau had a question, and I'm going to oblige him. H.A. Goodman thinks Hillary is going to run. What do you think about that? So, H.A. Goodman, I have kind of an ambivalent opinion of him. I think his channel is very entertaining. I've tried to contact him about the investigation I did on John Mattis and Rachel Maddow. He basically ignored me. So I personally, I'm not letting it go, because the fact is that this is a guy who was once all about journalism and publishing and all of that, and he could still be about that, but he's ignoring something that I sent to him. So yeah, there's that I want to get out of the way. Now, to your question. So Mr. Wazeau says, don't forget BleachBit. BleachBit is part of that obstruction of justice with Hillary Clinton. So H.A. Goodman's assumption is that Hillary Clinton was always going to be the person to run for the Democratic establishment, and none of these other candidates really matter. Not Kamala Harris, not Elizabeth Warren, not Beto, not Biden, none of them. And all these people who are pumping up Biden, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, because he's basically crumbling and falling apart, which the polls don't reflect it yet. But the polls have been wrong before, and I believe the polls will be wrong now, and it's impossible for me to tell at the moment who is really in the lead and who's going to win in Iowa, which, by the way, everything could change. But the debates are at the end of the month. I think the debates are on the 26th. Or maybe, no, they're something. Yeah, I think they are on the 26th. So because they were 2 weeks from Wednesday. So from this past Wednesday. So everything could change by then. I believe that Joe Biden is going to unravel and collapse. And H.A. Goodman's theory, I believe, is this, which, I'm aside from all the personal, I do hold it against him that he didn't listen to me. But his point is this, that the fact is the Democrats would never let someone that they can't trust to look after their interests win the nomination. So that precludes Bernie Sanders, that precludes Andrew Yang. To some extent, that precludes people like Marianne Williamson or whatever. A lot of these candidates would fit that profile. The Democrats also would probably look at people who they would see are almost impossible to get elected. So Kamala Harris would be impossible to get elected because here in the Midwest, she is just garbage. Nobody likes her. She's basically, she's rat poison over here. You look at who are some of the other candidates. Cory Booker. Nobody wants Cory Booker as president. I find it amazing that Cory Booker wants Cory Booker as president because he's so good at just talking in the Senate about nothing. I mean, he should stick to that. So H.A. Goodman's premise is that the Clintons are so obsessed with maintaining power and privilege and influence, and the Democrats are so married to candidates that will continue this corrupt system that has been in place for so long, that it's going to be her because none of the other candidates that are running are so craven and cynical as she is. And that's why he thinks that she'll run. And is it likely? I don't know. I think that if Joe Biden falls apart, which I think is a definite possibility, I wouldn't rule it out. I think that he has a point there because if he loses, then you get some of these wackaloons that are going to rise in the polls. The Democrats don't want Bernie Sanders as their candidate because the fact is that the Bernie Sanders as the nominee will mean a fracture in the party because a lot of the accusations that the Hillary people leveled against Sanders supporters, they themselves will fulfill. They'll vote third party. They'll end up voting for whoever the hell, Howard Schultz or whatever. The Democrats don't want somebody that's going to scare away the legions of Hillary voters that do exist. They're just not very intelligent and they're not very motivated. So they don't want Bernie Sanders because he would likely scare away a lot of the actual Democratic voter base. Then you get into the debate over whether Bernie Sanders could actually attract Trump voters or not, which I think is an interesting discussion. HA should have listened. Yeah, he still can listen, but he won't, because he just, I don't know what the hell his problem is. If you want to email him, let him know that he has all the information he needs and he has all the people that he could talk to. And all of that stuff is published on the Hard News Network. And if you need links, then you know how to find me, Mr. Wazzo. I think we're on Gab together. So yeah, it's unfortunate that he didn't listen, but I can't control what other people do, and I'm moving on to other things to do that you'll hear about in the next month or thereabouts. Now, okay, we don't have that much time left today, so we're going to talk a little bit about, what's this over here? Oh, I think I opened this twice, so I think we're out of topics. So good work, everybody. We got through everything in relatively little amount of time. So I want to thank you guys for coming here and sharing this evening with me. And I want you to know that whatever happens to this channel, I think that, we can't just fall off the ball and take our eyes off the ball is really the metaphor. We have to figure out a way to really get stories out that are important, that expose wrongdoing. That's really what's going on here. It has nothing to do with seeking fame or anything that I think is secondary. What's going on? Impex is shouting at me. Bitch Bernie will do whatever he's told or pays the best. Huh. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining me again. You can always find me and my stuff, especially on, let's see here. So you can find me on minds.com. I try to keep everything updated so that you can see my latest releases if you don't get my notifications on YouTube, which I can't control. But you will likely see it on minds.com if I can remember to post it. Sometimes, what are you going to do? You can find me on Gab at Starscream85. Also try to find me on BitChute, believe it or not. So let me see here. My channel on BitChute it has not even nearly as many subs as on YouTube, but it has more views per video. You can even see the gay video from a couple days ago where, I basically said why I don't believe in gay rights. That one got 99 views, which I think is 3 times as many as the YouTube video. So yes, if you go on BitChute and you turn on notifications, you will get to see my videos if you want to. If you don't want to see my videos, you can continue to subscribe to me on YouTube, like and share, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great evening.
Big town, synthetic apparel not be lonely. Look us having a breakdown. Ooh, what a letdown. Shame I'm thinking like die. She's dancing and throwing. Guess I gotta wait my turn. I said don't fall in love with the moment. She said I got a lot to learn. No, I'm in love with the city. The green is turning brown. I just look pathetic now. Yeah, she likes it cause we just don't eat, and we're so intelligent. She's American. Yeah, she says I got a face. my teeth, and she's so American. She's American. If she likes it, cause we just don't eat, and we're socially relevant. She's American. If she says I gotta fix my teeth, then she's so American. She's American. She's inducing sleep to avoid pain. I think she's got a gun, divinely decreed and custom made. She calls on the phone like the old days, expecting the world known. Said don't fall in love with the moment, I think you're in love with the girl. There's too much water in the city, be careful how you drown. I think you've got it figured out. If she likes it cause you just don't eat, and you're so intelligent. She's American. If she says I gotta fix my teeth, then she's so American. She's American. If she likes it cause you just don't eat, and we're socially relevant. She's American. If she says I gotta fix my teeth, then she's so American. She's American.